Molly, it's Hanukkah. How's it going with the kids?
Oh, it's going great. It's been a lovely Hanukkah so far. I'm excited to have it keep going for a few more days here.
It's so exciting to start our podcast on Hanukkah. It's the 1 year anniversary of the Sub Saharan African Jewish Alliance. That's very exciting.
Right. We were in December last year. We were in Cote d'Ivoire. I mean, now we are here all over the world on this podcast. Who would have thought this would happen a year later? It's amazing. So much has changed and happened.
I know it's been a very exciting year, and that these 10 communities that started with the Sub Saharan Alliance is now up to 13 countries, and they meet regularly and they shared all kinds of Hanukkah pictures with us. Molly, tell us about our mission about Kulanu.
Right. It's been, really great to hear about what's happening in sub-Saharan Africa, but really Kulanu works with 33 different with communities in 33 different countries around the world. So it's really more than just Africa. It's really a global organization. So Kulanu supports isolated, emerging, and returning Jewish communities around the globe.
Yeah. Oh, so I know about emerging communities. Emerging communities were those that were once Christian and they left Christianity for all kinds of reasons. It's the internet that actually changed everything, isn't it?
Right. We've had a lot of new communities that are really just finding out about Judaism, maybe learning about their Jewish roots and wanting to learn more. And so they're turning to the internet, they're all on their cell phones all over the world, and huts and, everywhere where they have any internet access. They're really trying to find out about their lineage and looking into this Judaism thing to find out more. So it's really brought a lot of new people to Judaism into our world, into Kulanu communities.
Okay, so we started talking about emerging communities, and those are ones that found on the internet, right? They go to all these different websites. Which websites do they go to get their information?
Right. So oftentimes we have people that are really just learning about Judaism and they're like, whoa, I know about the Old Testament, the New Testament. We even have communities that were given a Bible from missionaries, and then they then just decided to do just the Old Testament and were living Jewish lives without realizing it. So it's really runs the gamut for how people come to Judaism in many various different ways. A lot of it is the internet and connections.
Yeah, they go to Aish, they go to Chabad, they go to all kinds of different places on the internet. They can find out about anything. They can find out about Shabbos and Hanukkah and all the holidays and everything. So that's the emerging communities. And tell us something about returning communities. There are two groups, right?
Right. So we have returning communities are really people that have had some Jewish roots, that a lot of them are crypto Jews. So someone from the Inquisition 500 years ago, their family was forced to convert. And so now they're really coming back to Judaism, with genealogy and all that's out there now. You really can find out more than you ever could before about this lost lineage that is in your history that you didn't know about. So they're coming to Judaism that way.
We just got tremendous news. Jeannie Milgram's new documentary is going to be shown at the Cannes Film Festival about her life journey from crypto Jew to Orthodox Jew. It's so exciting. I think I'm going to Cannes soon. You going to join me?
That sounds like a plan. That's amazing. Yes, I mean that was phenomenal when we heard that. It's just so great that her story is going to be out there for more people to learn and hear the great work she's been doing on behalf of all crypto Jews, because she's really been pushing that message out there and even met with the Pope. That's very impressive.
And besides crypto Jews, we have lost tribes, people who claim their origins from the lost tribes. I know the Igbo, right? They claim they're from the
Right, in
tribe,
Nigeria.
I think, right? And there's
Right.
130 million of them, some ridiculously large number. And what's the story with the Lemba?
Right. So the Lemba, they are actually one of the groups that have the gene, like I was just speaking about. So they actually have the Cohen gene. So that's been something that's been really exciting to see and have people learn about and to understand that there really are these Jewish communities around the globe. Oftentimes people first hear about the Lemba in Zimbabwe, the the Abudai in Uganda. They're an emerging community, but they're also another group that has a lot of attention. So really, it's these different groups, and there's really hundreds, maybe even thousands across the globe.
Yeah, what's really interesting about the Lemba, they were once on the cover of the New York Times about less than 15 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. And because they had genetic testing, they found the Cohen gene. You know what the Cohen gene is, right?
Right. I know that. So yeah, it's from the
Priest,
Cohen.
right? Someone who gets an aliyah first in the synagogue because he's called up as a Kohen, as a priest. Well, there is a Jewish genetic marker for the Kohanim, for the priests, and the Lemba of Zimbabwe and South Africa have this marker, so they claim they have Jewish genetic roots. And the last group we talk about is isolated. What's the best example that you could think of isolated communities?
This is a good quiz. I don't know.
Suriname.
Okay.
What's
Sounds so good.
interesting
Yeah.
about Suriname? What's interesting about Suriname?
Oh, I know what you're going to share about how the Suriname people, they actually funded the first synagogue in New York. Is that right?
Yes, that's
Is that
true.
fun fact?
Spanish Portuguese synagogue that still exists is funded by the original group in Suriname. So, okay, so we covered the three groups: returning, emerging,
Yeah.
isolated. And that's what Kulanu deals with. We deal with emerging Jewish communities. What are the ways that we support these groups?
Right. So we support these groups. So I think also we should probably tell people what Kulanu means, because I think that's kind of helpful to know about our background. So, because sometimes people come to me and they think Kulanu is like a Hawaiian word, maybe Indian, like they don't quite understand that Kulanu is all of us in Hebrew. And so I think that's important when we think about all of us and how all these different communities kind of work together to create like the fabric of Judaism. We like to say it's like, the different threads weaving together and really creates, who we are as a people.
I
So
still think it sounds Hawaiian, and nobody will know how to spell it. It's Kulanu. If you try to Google us, you're not going to find it in any other spelling. And the odd thing is, if you Google us, there's 3 Kulanu. So you have to go to kulanu.org and you click on our website. Tell us about the website that we have.
sure. So on our website, we have a gorgeous map where you get to click on the different countries and then you can read about the community. So that's really one of our top pages that a lot of people like to go to and learn more about the different countries, because you can see the whole map is lit up with different countries where Kulanu works. So as you were saying, Kulanu supports isolated, emerging, and returning Jewish communities in many, many different ways. So we really try to be community-led, what they're looking for. Sometimes they're looking to have a rabbi come in. Sometimes they're in need of a Torah. Sometimes, the synagogue is in need of a latrine. Other times we work on small community economic projects like a sewing program. And so it really just depends on what the community's needs and desires are. We try to work with them to ensure that these projects are successful and that the communities can continue to be strong and stable and grow.
Many of the communities now are asking for synagogues to be built. I have a dream that we would raise enough money to be able to build synagogues wherever they're needed. Now people are asking us for all kinds of things, but the big dollar amount is to build the synagogues and to build the infrastructure of the community so that they have mikvahs. You know what a mikvah is?
Yeah, so a mikvah is a ritual bath. So oftentimes,
They want mikvahs. They want to learn how to kosher slaughter chickens and goats and other things and other animals. So some of them are vegetarian because they don't have access to kosher meats. So they need training in how to slaughter animals in a kosher way.
Yeah, so that was something that we had discussed at the Sub-Saharan African Jewish Conference. So I think, a lot of these different pieces of Kulanu, the Kulanu puzzle all work together where we're trying to connect the communities also themselves. They have their own network of support because a lot of them are dealing with the same situation, the same problems, being isolated communities. Often, even if they are an emerging or returning community, often they're isolated in an area where there aren't so many Jews. So to have a strong Jewish community and a strong network, even across borders, is really, really helpful for them. And to gain the knowledge that they're welcome into the wider Jewish world is amazing just to see, that connection that happens.
What was so wow is that people in Ghana didn't know there were Jews in Ethiopia, that didn't know there were Jews in Kenya, that didn't know there were Jews in Cote d'Ivoire, that didn't know Jews that there were in Cameroon. And even in Cameroon or in Nigeria, people didn't know how many communities existed in their country. And this conference pulled together all of these people who for the first time celebrated Shabbat together. And they're singing and they're dancing, and you would not believe how much fun and how excited they were and how grateful. I mean, the thank you letters, the love letters that they sent to each other. I can't believe you exist. And so what Kulanu did, and it was also a milestone, was bring them together for the first time in one coordinated group.
Right, right. No, it was impressive to be there in person, and it was great to be there, this past weekend for our Zoom reunion where we got to see everyone and connect again and to see, those relationships continue to form and the committees that they've been working on, and to see like that small, conference was a week, and, we celebrated Hanukkah there. And so to be, Hanukkah again now and to be together with everyone, it's just
And for
amazing.
anybody who ever questions Jewish diversity, this is the place of Jewish diversity. And it's not only country diversity. We have people of color from Indonesia, from India, from Africa. We are the inclusive group and the inclusive focus of Jewish diversity on this planet. And I really, most people think, Ashkenazi Jews or Sephardi Jews, if they know a little bit of something, but they all think that we all have the same skin color, but actually we don't. And actually, all over the world, throughout history, there were Jews with people of color. And I always want to say we're diversity central for the Jewish community now. It happens that way now. There were others, but they're not doing the same thing. Right, Molly?
Right, right. No, I agree. It's really interesting to see all the different, people that are all, sharing the same beliefs and working together. And it's just beautiful to have these connections. So I think that that's something that we continue to strive for.
We are rebuilding the Jewish people. I mean, there's a debate. Should I use the word rebuilding? Should I use the word upbuilding? Should I use the word building? But in some way, we are strengthening Jewish peoplehood around the world after the Holocaust, after the destruction of Jewish communities in, Northern Africa. And right now, we need.
Right, right. And I know that you like to share a lot about, philosemitism. I think that's something that, we should highlight as well, that there are a lot of Jewish groups out there and, people that are interested, there might not be Jewish, that are interested in Judaism and love Judaism, even if, they themselves aren't Jewish. So this is like a new phenomenon that we're seeing a lot of, especially in the countries we work with.
Yeah,
Don't you
we
think?
hear a lot about anti-Semitism, even in this country. It's sort of mind-blowing, that level. But here's a new word for everybody: philosemitism. There are communities that just love us and want to be part of us. And the challenge today is for the established Jewish world to recognize these communities, because they only want to be part of Jewish history and they want to add to Jewish culture. Molly, say something about the music that they create with African beats, how they take
Yes, that's a
African.
good one. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. My mother actually heard it on the radio yesterday. It's one of the songs from Uganda. So it's definitely out there in honor of Hanukkah. They played it on the radio. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah, that was exciting. So yeah, so there are, we have a lot of music on our website, and we even have music that you can share. We have a list of all the different songs. So we had some recordings that were recently done. Unfortunately, the cantor just passed away in Zimbabwe, but just a few days prior, he was actually making some recordings. So we're going to be working on getting those out as well. So it's really something that's important to kind of keep those traditions alive and to record that music so you can hear really the African blends along with the Jewish melodies, and it's just sweet music that comes out.
I know. And I hope we'll be able to in the future play some of this wonderful music that they're contributing to the Jewish world. I know they have like Lecha Dodi, the Friday night prayer that opens the Shabbat. I know a bunch of communities created their own wonderful music for it. And maybe on one of these podcasts, we'll be able to hear some of this music. And I know
that
that
sounds like a great idea.
it sounds like, right? We have lots of great ideas for future podcasts, right? There's
right. Keep listening. We can keep us coming forever.
We can keep on chatting forever. And the truth is that the next few podcasts, we're going to talk about the different communities. We'll focus on different communities. Wait, but I think the next
right. The next podcast is going to actually be a little different. It's going to, well, considering it's our second one, but it'll be a little different than the ones we're planning on for the future. It will be about the community's responses to the events of October 7th. So that's going to be something that, we thought was important to share with what's going on in the world now, kind of how the communities themselves felt, the messages that we were receiving after those tragic events occurred. And so kind of, we thought that was something that we wanted to share to give everyone insight into how they're feeling overseas.
It's actually some of the testimonies heart-wrenching. And it varies, the testimony. Some of it is from, it varies. Some countries are supportive of Israel, like Cameroon, and some countries are really angry at Israel. And so that's what the
right. So that'll be what we'll share the next time. Yes. So looking forward to that. So so if you like this podcast, be sure to share and tell your friends all about it. That'd be really great for us. And check out kulanu.org to learn more about all of our work. And join us next time on our podcast as we will share more about our communities and their thoughts. Kulanu.org. So it's KULANU.org/donate.